Hi, my name is Kees and I help people from doing to being. And this video is about one of the basics of non-duality, and it's the fact that we are all consciousness and you are consciousness. So, let me dive into that. You say, okay, I thought my name was Kees and I was this body. Or in your case, it could be your name. I don't know. But that's not true. Because that name, if I give you a different name, or somebody calls you by a nickname, then actually you are still the same. You just have a different name. But you, the inward experience you have looking out, is still the same. You're still the one noticing the name. Same with the body. The body, we're so identified with the body, with how the body is and how we think it is, and our perception of our own body. But if we change our body, let's say let's say I change my hands or I lose a finger, do I change? No, my perception on the inside is exactly the same. Maybe I have pain if I lose a finger, but let's say I have surgery and I have an extra amount of ass, or in my case, I don't know, if I would lose, I would get fake fake chest implants or wider shoulders or something like that. Then my perception of myself is still the same. I'm still the one noticing my body, and maybe I can have some different thoughts about that. Maybe I can think about myself in a different way, but I'm still the one that is having perception of my body. So as I get old, I'm still the same person. So I'm still the one, let's say, in there, you would say. Even though the funny thing is, but we can get to that later, we're not really in there. We have the experience that we're in there because we're experiencing that way through the body. But we're not actually the body, because otherwise we couldn't perceive it. We would just be limited in our perception to the body. We would know nothing else but the body. Because if we are really the body, then we could see nothing. We could experience nothing but the body. Okay, so that's maybe a strange concept, but think of it, maybe it's good to continue like I was explaining it, with you being the one that's looking at the body. Same with our thoughts. Our thoughts are coming and going, and we can only have one thought at a time. And so there's all these thoughts throughout the day that are coming and going, and inward and outward, and they're doing lots of things, and there's lots of thoughts about lots of different things, and some of those thoughts are about a self concept, or the identification we have, the self-image which we have. And the self-image which we have is just a thought as well. It's a thought we believe in, but it is a thought. And those thoughts are just coming and going all the time. And if our thoughts change, then we are still the same. If we change our thoughts or think about things differently, and scientists have actually proven that every 30 years the complete personality is changed, but we usually don't notice it. We feel like we're the same because it's such a slow process. Just like we feel that we're the same as our body gets older, it's such a slow process over time that we don't really realize that, let's say, every 5 years our whole body, every cell is renewed. So we're still the same. We're still the same and conscious of what we think in this case. And the same is, I said, with our body and with our name or our environment. If our environment changes, same thing. We're conscious of the fact that our environment has changed if we're in a new country, for example, but we're not exactly, we are not changed. The countries change, the circumstances are changed, or we can change our thoughts, change our minds, we would say in normal language. And if our feelings change or our emotions change, it's similar. We are just conscious of that. We can identify with it and say, I'm angry, instead of I feel anger, which we constantly do. We identify constantly, which, you know, creates this sort of emotional roller coaster which we can have throughout the day, with different feelings we have. And but in fact, there is something that is behind all this, and we could call this consciousness, or we could say it's energy, or we could say, from a religious perspective, we could say it's God. And it's God looking out. It's the awareness that we have of all these things and layers, that are constantly in flux. The layer of our thoughts, the layer of our perceptual energy, of the mood. You know, if you're a little bit psychic, you can sense the mood, or the emotion in the room, or things like that, or emotions with other people, and etc. But all the things that we can perceive, whether that's the environment, or our body, or our thoughts, or feelings, our inner world, or outer world, all those are constantly in flux. They're constantly changing. And in fact, they're not what we are. We are the consciousness which is aware of all this. And which is the second step, because before I created the video, The World is an Illusion, which is usually the first step in the non-duality teaching of Advaita Vedanta, which is a beautiful direct path to enlightenment teaching in Hindu philosophy, or mythology, or religion, how you would say it. And the second one is that you are consciousness. So the world is not an illusion. The world is an illusion. And what's real is actually that you are consciousness. Or they say you are God, but I love to say you're consciousness. And from that consciousness, we can look out and see an ever-changing movie, we could say. On the screen of life, we can see that life is always changing. And life is always diverse. Life is always giving us different things. And the best way is not to attach, or not to try to depend too much on that what you see, on that what you experience. Try not to identify with it. Try not to see it as real. I am this way, you are that way, this is always like this. But go with the flow, you could say. Go with what wants to be expressed. Go with what you feel best. Go with the road of least the way of least resistance. Yeah. To go with you could also say where your heart wants to go. And because we can sense, as humans, we can sense in a deeper level, we can usually sense what is good for us or what is not good for us. What would be a contracted, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand as humans and not try to be contracted. But let's stay on topic. So we are consciousness. And the fact that we are consciousness is very liberating. It means that we're not the mind, that the mind is changing. We're not our feelings. We're not defined by the mind or our feelings. They're going to change. They're okay as they are. And the best way to deal with them is to let them go, to be okay with them, to not spend too much time on them, give them too much attention. Same with the outer circumstances. It's okay. They're okay. We can just relax. Be okay. There's outer circumstances, okay. sometimes those need action, and then give it the action it needs. Sometimes it doesn't need action, and then relax. It's as simple as that. Life is usually as difficult or as simple as you would like it. So with that said, I wish you a very great day. Be conscious of that you're not in control, that you're not everything, but that you can experience and be aware of everything. Have a great day. And let's evolve together.